And it's 5:59? What?
Did I have a day off? I did, actually.
That explains so much. Welcome to Talking Heads, everyone. Episode 344, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Spotify or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, sometimes some Star Trek. All super chats are read on the air so long as they will not permanently demonetize the channel. We do drink alcohol on the show, and if you're drinking along with us, alcoholic or not, let us know in the chat and we'll give some early show shoutouts as we go along. Last but not least, if you'd like to take part in the super secret chat and the even more super secret after party, think about joining the Patreon. Link is down in the video description. As a bonus, you'll get exclusive access to my Discord server, where you can chat with myself, John, Brett, Steve, all the hosts from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there.
Starting early? No, this is actually on time, technically.
Technically, we just started on time.
Yeah.
Really, I just wanted a beer, and I wanted to get it moving. So.
Yep. Oh no, I totally agree. Yeah. No, I wanted that too. I spent the only reason I have time off is I was sent to Florida last week last time it was 48 hours. This time it was 5 days.
Yeah.
And it almost ended up being 6.5 thanks to a subject we'll talk about later today. But the wonderful CrowdStrike and Microsoft Azure.
You were in Florida when this all went down, weren't you?
Yes, yes. And also, it happened to be, which was my suggestion, to use Azure Central Server as our server.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah, so it was end of the day for me in Florida. Being like, all right, I just did all my stuff. And I was in the bathroom and I'm just like, oh, wait, what? What's going on? And yeah, spent the next 4.5 hours cloning my server to move to a West Coast one. But like, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get into that later, though.
Yes. Yeah, obviously, Friday night, at least Pacific Coast time, pushed out it was Thursday night.
Thursday.
Yeah, it was Thursday night, Friday morning for most of the world. CrowdStrike, they pulled a whoopsie. Obviously, I am not the first to talk about this, but I do have a couple points that I wanted to discuss. Ramifications of this, what were CrowdStrike's internal policies, what led to this outage, that kind of thing. I've got a couple of takes, and we'll go through those. I have not yet talked about the Intel Raptor Lake degradation issue. And Intel has finally made a response, has finally acknowledged it, and I think it's to a point where I'm comfortable discussing it. It's not a story that I've really been following all that closely. But it seems to have reached a bit of a fervor pitch in the last couple of weeks, including Intel responding with a couple probable causes to it. We'll get into that. Humble Games shutting down, and the smallest Wii you've ever seen. All coming up later this evening. But we started the show a minute early so we could crack a beer a minute early. John, what do you got lined up for tonight?
Today I have, because we are cracking it a little bit early, I'm gonna go a little bit on the double digit side here.
We're starting strong.
I'm gonna start. So I'm gonna go Surly's again. This is thanks to a great friend and patron of the channel, Novella Hub. Surly's double Axeman double bladed. They're double IPA. So 10.8%.
How come I didn't get one of those? Novella. Thought we were friends, man.
But in this wonderful pint glass.
Yes.
That's etched. If you don't know, there's a
I wonder who makes those. Those look wonderful.
I don't know. There might be a link in the description somewhere to buy them. Who knows?
Yeah, if only there was a
Whatever.
store link. It happened to be
If
using my
only,
name,
if only you could
craftcomputing.store.
also use these coasters with this wonderful glassware.
Yeah, yeah. Craftcomputing.store, where all of your quality merch can be found. Mine too, as it turns out. But yeah, if you haven't visited the store, we make custom laser engraved pint glasses, including nucleated bottoms, right here in house. I design and manufacture these in my garage. So go check it out. Enhance your drinking experience today. We've got everything from pint glasses and coasters to whiskey stones, rocks glasses, whole bunch of fun stuff. Go check it out. I am going to be opening beer from our good friend Aaron from El Segundo Brewing.
I had one of those last night.
Yes, this is the Hard Maybe, the hazy IPA.
Yes, I have one of those.
Yep. So 6.7%. Thank you, Aaron.
Yes. I know. I had one last night, or it was the saber-toothed tiger or buck-toothed tiger, I think it was, hazy pale ale. I had it with a nice bacon and turkey sandwich, and my God, that just felt great. A nice honey wheat. Yep. Ooh, there you go.
Good looking beer.
Yeah.
Really good looking. 6.7%. I don't know if there's much information on it. Oh, there's nothing worse than pitching an idea you're excited about and then you get a lame response. Hard maybe. That's the corporate jargon equivalent to telling someone to kick rocks. The answer is clearly no, but they don't have the chutzpah to shut you down. We're speaking from experience. Long story short, we canned a semi-full-time hazy. Will we can another? Hard maybe. Oh, that's great. Especially because I did a corporate speak ad earlier this year. That was fun. Mike D.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Sends over $10. Thank you very much. We take Canadian as well as US. Sorry I missed last week's show. Was awesome listening on replay. Jeff, I'm going to Treehouse this weekend. Variety Pack will be on your way. Suggestions. I haven't seen what Treehouse has out right now, but you know what's really funny? You weren't here last week when I drank one of the beers you sent me. So today I got into my fridge and I grabbed a beer and I'm like, I wonder if Mike's going to be on the show. You know, I'm going to hedge my bets and say no. And so I actually had one of the beers that you sent me in my hands like 10 minutes ago. So we'll catch you next week. But as far as what Treehouse has, I don't know what they're brewing right now, but I love surprises.
Yeah, no, anything Treehouse does is the Julie, the Julius, all of those they're fantastic. Their hazy IPAs are amazing. However, I don't really remember having anything other than like hazy IPAs from them. I would love to, and I think I've had a stout, but I don't know if they make like a pale, a saison, anything just a little bit different, sour. I would love to try some.
Find me a Scotch ale or an ESB or a porter or dig into the weeds a little bit.
That was when I was in Florida and I went to Cigar City. If you guys remember on the Discord, again, join that. You'll see all the fun shenanigans we all get into. It ended up being Cigar City. It was like a mile from my hotel room. So I was like, I'll just drive over there really quick. But that's what I got. I got it was English pub beer on nitro. It's like or cask. They had it on nitro and cask. And I'm pretty sure I ordered cask and it came out. I'm pretty sure they came out nitro because it was cascading and cold. So I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is nitro, but whatever. Either way, delicious because it was just different. Everyone around me was having IPAs and I'm the one with this nice brown malty looking beer with this nice creamy thick head on top. Yeah. And you could see the eyeballing of like, oh, you're the beer snob here, and we just came here for the burger and a beer. It's like,
right,
yeah. So that's what I did because right next to it is a 14% apple barley wine. Was probably one of the best barley wines I've ever had. But
I saw the flight you posted, and holy crap.
it was a great flight. Yeah, no, that barley wine blew me away. It was like an apple juice barley wine. It's like, oh, it's so good. It was apple with a little bit of tobacco, burntness of bourbon, and charness of wood.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
Nice.
13.8%.
Mm.
So, let's see. There was a couple of I got Jason drinking a Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA. Always a good classic to have. Who else I saw? I saw Elmas was drinking an Evil Santa. It's a Boulevard Bourbon Quad Ale.
Oh.
That one sounds delicious this time of year. I do enjoy a good every now and then a good dark bourbon barrel aged in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
I kind of get lost in the hazing. Like I need to get something dark in me. That's kind of weird to say. I embrace.
Are we still doing phrasing?
Yeah. Let's see. Starbuck already had his beer earlier. He has Hazy Little Thing. And Wolf Haze IPA, another IPA, Veterans United. Okay, well, that's three. You can still have a fourth. That's okay. Focal Banger. There we go. The Alchemist, Mike D. Focal Banger. Nice. Did you drink it out of the can or did you pour it? I want to know that.
Good question.
I want to know that, Mike. So let's see. Patch is having an Oberon Wheat Ale, 5.8%. Nothing wrong with it. And then Michael S. Shock Top Belgian White. Good old Shock Top Twist Top.
Cool.
Yeah. We got Fire by Trials having an Akima Kazu Japanese Ale. I'm pretty sure I butchered that name, but that's good. Is it Japanese ale or is it just like a local brewery making a Japanese ale? Let me know. Let's know in the comments below.
Mike says, "Hell no, he poured it."
Good.
Good.
Oh, okay. Mike D said there will be a pack for me, or at least something for me from that treehouse.
Nice.
That's good. Nice. All right. That's all.
Thank you, Mike.
Starbucks says no, he had 3 hazy little things. Oh, okay. So he's on his 5th beer. Not bad. Okay. 6 beer. Yeah, you're on a 6-pack. Yeah, have a water. Ooh, I just got them in. And I didn't know what the price was. I just looked them up. But I got around $180 worth of hopped infused water to review. And so far, the ones I've had are amazing. The only downside is I looked up the price, and they are just as expensive as a beer.
Yes.
And it's like, I cannot justify paying $3 for a carbonated 12-ounce water.
Yeah.
That is hard.
I really like hopped waters. I used to stock the Klausthalers all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I would keep a 12-pack in my fridge for times.
The Lagunitas hop water is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that's great as well. Yeah, I would but the problem is, like you said, it's $3. I can get a bomber 10% IPA for $2.79. Like,
yeah. And then I can get good carbonated water for $3 for a 12-pack.
Right.
And it's like, know your market.
Mm-hmm.
I will state though, there is an interesting thing about these water is that it comes with 180% vitamin C in them. 0 calories, 0 sugar, no sweetener, but it's 180% vitamin C. So there's a lot of vitamin C in these drinks.
Yeah.
So a little bit of like, oh, hey, if I'm sick, I can have this. I got my cold.
Yeah.
I can still have these waters.
Yep. Yeah, I wish we could get more affordable hopped water. That'd be would drink it a lot more often. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the news. Starting with, I think we'll start with the Intel saga. We've also got an Intel rumor that I didn't mention, but we'll get to that momentarily. So this has been a story that's been brewing for a little while now, and that is Intel Raptor Lake has, over the last 6 to 12 months, started to develop a reputation for being a bit unstable. Now, we talked about this maybe 6 or 8 months ago when it came to board partners. So OEMs like Asus and Gigabyte and the like, basically doing their own thing when it came to boost behavior for CPUs.
Yep.
And how that was potentially causing some instability. Basically, these motherboard manufacturers trying to get a leg up on each other because they have no official guidance from Intel on what they should be doing or how they should be handling boost behaviors. Intel kind of made it the wild, wild west. And their response was to issue a couple BIOS updates, specifically AGESA updates, to kind of rein in the turbo behaviors. Well, as it turns out, that wasn't enough. And also, as it turns out, apparently there's a bug in Intel's microcode itself for running their CPUs that is causing it to draw or request way too much voltage. Modern Intel CPUs run at between 1.1 and 1.25, and that's where you want them to run. They were requesting up to 1.74 volts, apparently, according to Intel and a couple of people who have done quite a bit of research into this. That's a lot of voltage. That's some
heat.
Lot. That's some heat. That's a lot. And sorry, I forgot to change over my Firefox thing, so when I do this, it's going to be a black screen, because I'm an idiot. Oh yeah, let's look at my Discord. That's great. There we go. Cool. So yeah, Intel has finally acknowledged this as an issue. And supposedly a patch is on the way. The patch will be out sometime in mid-August, is what they're estimating. But that's going to actually be dependent on motherboard manufacturers rolling up a BIOS update for your specific board with the new microcode in it. Because this isn't just a patch that the end user can apply. This is the microcode which is contained in a BIOS file. So Intel is going to roll out a microcode update to board partners. Board partners then have to roll that microcode into a new BIOS update and then issue it for every single board that they produce. This is not going to be an expedient process. There's also some bad news to this, and that is this isn't going to fix CPUs which have developed issues, because the damage is physical. Overvolting a CPU actually physically degrades it. It degrades the traces on the silicon. It potentially arcs. It's not good news. Now, Intel has said that they will continue RMAing defective parts basically indefinitely at this point. That if you experience a failure with a 13th gen CPU, you can just return it, and they will RMA it. But it has me, and I'm going to go speculative here. I'm going to go a little bit of tin hat here, if people are ready for this. This has me wondering if this was not intentional by Intel, flying a bit close to the sun, or as close to the sun as possible, to keep that gaming crown, which Intel has done before. Now, to be clear, this does affect basically every Raptor Lake CPU. But you know, you don't hit 6.2 gigahertz on 2 cores without making a couple concessions to safety and stability. And as we've also talked about before, basically once reviews of a product are done on the launch date, there's very few outlets that go back and re-review products. And so any physical degradation was going to be a slow burn. Now, I'm not saying Intel intentionally killed CPUs or intentionally introduced overly high voltages that they knew would damage a chip. I'm saying that they probably intentionally flew a little close to the sun. And in this case, it burned them.
So you're theoretically claiming that they may have pre-overclocked these for the performance without letting you know. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I'm not saying pre-overclocked. What I'm saying is well, a little bit. Overclocking.
I know. I mean, it's not overclocking, but
it's kind of a misnomer in these days, this day and age. You know, because with boost/turbo frequency, depending on what you call it, your CPU dynamically scales dependent on a number of factors. It's available current, available power headroom, and available thermal headroom. One of the ways to increase current is to increase voltage. I'm wondering if on such a small process, this is Intel 7 process, if the voltage was just a little bit higher than was physically possible with this particular silicon. And again, 1.74, that's spicy. That's spicy for a chip that under turbo load should draw 1.4 and under standard load should draw 1.1 to 1.25. Like 1.7 it's up there.
No, well, someone in the Discord was saying, like, didn't they do something very similar with it was the Pentium 4?
Pentium D, Prescott. They did this, where those were some hot running chips. But yeah, basically.
Well, also too, like when you're saying the degradation of the chip too, there's not just the degradation of the chip. It can also be the degradation of the board because those chips are getting hot. And if you don't have a proper cooling or enough, what's the gel? Heat sink gel, thermal paste. Thank you. Yep. You know, if the manufacturer put or very skimpy on it, whatever, which most of the times they are, it can degrade even the board itself, the connector. It can. And so it's not just it can, and it all depends on how hard these guys are running it. I would be curious if you do push the chip even further, does it go beyond what you're asking it, or is it because this article made it sound like at its base, it was grabbing more power from its base, or as I was saying, from its base performance. Yep. What happens if you ask it for more, because you can overclock it, overperform it, boost it, and does that hinder? Because I didn't see that in this article. Was that hindering it, or if you try to do that and you had a rig built for that type of stuff because you can, was it overperforming beyond that, or once it got beyond the 1.7, it was like, oh, okay, now we're fine, we're flatlined, we're now even.
Basically, as I understand it, the microcode was written so the CPUs could request from the motherboard up to 1.74 volts. Now, the motherboard could deliver 1.74, could deliver more or less depending on the quality of the VRM, the actual specificity of the currents that it can deliver. 1.74 would also be out of spec for most VRM delivery solutions designed around this process. But the issue is that the CPU would probably run fine for a while. The issue that we're seeing is that eventually this is leading to physical degradation of the chip, which is leading to instability. And whether or not it's no longer able to hold 6.2 gigahertz, but it's still trying to hit that, and now it's blue screening, or now they're only hitting 5.9, or whatever the case may be. Intel has basically confirmed that CPU degradation is happening. They say they've basically been investigating the last 3 to 4 months, and based on the RMAs that they've received back from customers, and they've done full teardowns on them, they are seeing silicon degradation
So no
because
matter
of
what,
this overvolting issue.
Yeah, no matter what, if you've been using that CPU, it's been degraded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's been worn beyond it. You've driven your car in second gear the whole time.
That's actually not that bad of an analogy. Cars have red lines for a reason. CPUs have red lines for a reason.
Yeah.
And if you hold your red line, even if it's rated to hold the red line, you're asking for trouble. And in this case, the red line was set way too high by default. And like I said, I think this was Intel trying to squeeze every last single ounce of performance out of their chips to stay competitive.
So now, yeah, you're saying it was on. So basically, what you're saying, you think it was probably on purpose.
I think it was a strategic decision to stay competitive.
Or was it one of those, hey, Jim, program this, but we have deniability, probable deniability?
No, I don't think it was necessarily anything nefarious, but I do think it was on purpose. I think it was a purposeful. How much performance can we squeeze out? How close to the sun can we fly? And they weren't thinking, well, it's going to be 2 years before anyone discovers this, and by that time we'll just RMA it or sweep it under the rug, or we'll be introducing 15th gen, so who the hell cares?
Who cares? And then we'll throw a patch. Yeah.
I don't think this was a nefarious conversation. I think this was literally a conversation of how much performance can we squeeze out? And that level that they came up with, that particular voltage, that particular current drop, ended up being too much for the physical silicon that they had manufactured. I think that's more likely the issue.
Oh, shoot. 1.7. Stupid keyboard. My typing. And all right. Time for a new keyboard.
So yeah, no, it's interesting seeing Intel acknowledge this issue in full and actually be pretty candid about what the root cause was. They posted on the Intel Arc forums. So here's the actual statement from Intel. This was posted on the 22nd, so just 2 days ago. Based on extensive analysis of 13th and 14th gen desktop processors returned to us due to instability issues, we have determined that elevated operating voltage is causing instability in some 13th and 14th gen desktop processors. Our analysis has returned processors confirms that elevated operating voltage is stemming from a microcode algorithm resulting in incorrect voltage requests to the processor. Basically, Intel says the CPUs themselves, because of the microcode algorithm, were requesting up to 1.74 volts. They're saying the algorithm was incorrect, or they had incorrectly calculated based on load and based on all the other factors that we talked about. I'm thinking this was maybe a little bit on purpose. And again, that might be a little tinfoil hat, but what does 6.2 gigahertz on a 14900 KS get you versus 5.9 when it comes to Cinebench runs? Suddenly you're 2% in front instead of 3% behind. That's the difference, and that's the margin that they were trying to get with when it comes to, competing with Zen 5. Intel kept the crown, but at what cost? And that's kind of the point I wanted to make. Was this intentional? I have no idea. I gave the disclaimer, this is speculative, but it's very believable in a very competitive market space that how close can we get? How much performance can we possibly squeeze out?
Yeah. I mean, it's a possibility. It really is. And like someone said, or it was there was another processor where something similar happened.
Mhm.
And yeah, Intel has been competing with AMD for as recently for the past couple of years very intensely with this type of stuff to be like, oh, we're the gaming king still. Don't
Mhm.
mess with us. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's not within the realm of improbability. That's the thing.
Right. Right.
There's a good chance that yeah, could have been. And the heads up, you were just like, you know what? We'll take the hit if it does come to light. If not, if no one knows, wink, wink, we win.
See, I don't even think there was probably some risk analysis done of if we crank too much voltage into this and we end up damaging CPUs, what's the ramifications of that? But the conversation likely was, and the conversation always is, when you're determining final boost clocks and frequencies and boost curves and all that kind of thing. What do we consider safe? And what do we consider shooting for the moon? And what do we consider flying too close to the sun? Because of the way boost works on and turbo works on modern CPUs, it's all algorithmically based, and you set limiters for each of your 3 to 4 variables, and again, that's current, voltage, TDP, etc. It's up to you when you're designing microcode algorithms to determine what is safe, and also how to squeeze the most performance within those safe margins.
Yeah.
In this case, Intel likely placed those safe margins too high based on their physical design or their manufacturing capability. So it's nothing nefarious, and I'm not accusing Intel of any. I'm just saying they got it wrong. If it was there is also the possibility that this is truly a bug, and under certain circumstances, the CPU was asking for more voltage than the algorithm was supposed to be able to provide. That is also a realistic possibility. The little thing in the back of my brain says, how much performance were they trying to squeeze out? And it's convenient that they won by 2%. That's the little thing in my brain.
Well, also wasn't Intel the one of like, oh yeah, our CPUs or GPUs work great, but we have to have this ultra commercial freezer cooling it down, So
that was their CPUs.
Yeah. Oh, that was CPU. Okay.
Yeah, no, they've pulled punches before. So
exactly. So your thought process is not like, yeah, okay, it's not
I don't think I'm out of line.
No, exactly. It's like,
Nor do I think I'm going to upset anyone at Intel for stating this. I think they flew too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And that's the statement.
So this is the Icarus line. They should have renamed it to Icarus.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been Raptor Lake. It should have been Icarus.
It should have been Icarus. Oh, okay.
Wax Lake?
Wax dipped lake.
His wings were made out of wax, and if he flies too close to the sun, he melts. That's it.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, I understood it. It's interesting though that Intel then with this has coming out with something that's actually kind of interesting. The next thing.
Yeah. So this next product is. Gosh, this is like a generation or 2 out still. This is Core Ultra 300 processors. So this is their so there's Lunar Lake, which is coming out like now. There's Arrow Lake, which is going to be part of the Core Ultra 200 lineup. And then there's Panther Lake. So, like 3 generations out.
What a name. What a name.
Intel Sex Panther.
That's what I was thinking that, and then like Steel Panther, the metal band. I was like, oh yeah. Which is all, Sex Panther, essentially.
Yeah.
It's like, yep. Oh, so basically what we're saying is 60% of the time it works 100% of the time. Okay,
That's right. I love Scotch. Anyway, so we're talking a little ways in the future. But we've seen leaks that are further out than this. I'm take these with a grain of salt and know that specs are always subject to change, but this does give a little bit of insight to where Intel's at when it comes to their ultra low power lineup.
Very cool.
So we have 3 leaked SKUs, and this is according to videocards.com. And in fact, please note, this post is tagged as rumor. That even like, please note. But one of the things that I've said time and time again when reviewing like mobile handhelds is we're not necessarily getting parts that are designed for mobile handhelds when it comes to graphics performance. We want more graphics performance. What I don't need is, 8 or 12 or 16 CPU cores. What I need is more graphics processing. Now, are we going to get that with Panther Lake? Hopefully, but these early results show Intel is still leaning in the other direction. So we have 3 Panther Lake SKUs that have leaked, and obviously 2 of them are probably nothing that we'd be interested in for mobile gaming handhelds, with only 4 execution units of XE3. That is the successor to Battle Mage. What we do have is the Intel Panther Lake P, and I love that we're now getting performance, efficiency, and low power cores. There are now 3 types of cores that we're going to have to multi-scale.
Start talking. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. 4 performance, 8 efficiency, and 4 low power for a total of 16 cores and 12 execution units of Battle Mage's successor. I don't remember the Intel GPU code name for it, but 3rd generation Intel graphics. It's a 25 watt part, which may very well end up in a gaming handheld. But as a gaming handheld enthusiast, as a handheld console enthusiast, where is my 6 to 8 core CPU, 20 execution unit?
Yeah.
Do away with the rest of this stuff. I don't need... If we're building a gaming console, build us a gaming console. Give us a CPU that actually matches what we need physically.
I thought this came off more of a low end or mid tier laptop processor.
Yes.
That's what this came off to me as. Not the gaming PC type thing. I think this is going to be the new laptop processor of the next 2 generations, like you said, from now, probably.
This is AMD's 7840U.
Yeah.
This is what this is.
Yeah, totally. This is exactly, yeah. And we're going to be able to do mid to low level gaming on this. Long battery life, ultra thin. And it might hit some lower end gaming handheld devices. People that want to, some other third-party companies, we want to start using it and introduce our products as that with other additional features. This might be it. I don't know. Well, I think this is more laptop area.
I would say based on the TDP, this is the type of CPU that gaming handhelds are ended up using. Kind of to my point is there's not a SKU out there from AMD or Intel that really dials down exactly what a gaming handheld needs. They're using repurposed laptop SKUs, not dedicated gaming console SKUs. So, what do laptops needs? Well, let's give it 16 cores and let's make it hyper efficient on one end of things, and then 4 performance cores to really, drive up high end performance in it. Intel, and then, 12 execution units. That's good enough for, 4K playback on a, nice screen and, light gaming. It's not really a dedicated gaming thing though. And now obviously this is only 3 SKUs and Intel's probably going to put out 70 SKUs.
Probably.
So I'm hopeful. And
again, this is rumor.
Yes.
So this is all rumor. For all we know, but this actually kind of got me thinking. When you said multiple SKUs beyond this, I almost wonder if when Intel is doing this, Microsoft might do their own chip, if Microsoft would be like, oh, we want to get into the handheld gaming market with like the Xbox and something like that to compete with there's the obvious rumor of the new Switch coming out, I think next year or something. Yeah, that's always been a rumor. Every other year, it's the new Switch comes out because it's this old. But that idea of the handheld gaming device is very great. And to have a dockable processor, there have been so many good handheld devices. I wonder if that is the way of the new gaming, the home console gaming device, versus having your own giant micro, or not giant, but it's a micro ATX, essentially,
Yeah.
computer to your PlayStation or your Xbox. Where stuff like this, it is going to be the new thing of the tablet size, the laptop size, the microprocessor for the micro game or the portable gaming device. I don't know. It would be interesting. I'm just talking now out of my head, and I just already in my head, I can already hear myself like, the rabbit trails you just went on are not making sense. I don't know. I just think I agree. I'm very curious to see what this would do. I think this is going to be laptop based, possibly tablet based to boost those up. Maybe if it is true, handheld gaming. And I would be interested into seeing if Microsoft themselves or Intel themselves start specifically trying to make their own devices in the handheld world versus a third party, company.
Yeah.
To where they start making their own processors for these devices and trying to be like, hey, we already have all of the parts and everything. Why not? And the market's ripe for picking, and we can do it. We can undercut everyone else because of we're making it all in-house. So,
yeah,
I don't
know. Warrior chimes into the Discord and says Battle Mage successor is XE3/Celestial. That's right. They're using really cool names, like you've got Alchemist and Battle Mage and Celestial. I love their naming scheme for it. But yeah, these are definitely laptop parts.
Yeah.
But these will end up in gaming handhelds if there's no handheld specific SKU. And that's what I want to see. So if anyone at Intel or AMD is listening right now, what we don't need is 16 cores and 12 execution units. Can you invert that at the very least? Can you give me 16 graphics cores and 12 CPUs? Could you give me 8 CPUs or 6 CPUs even? Give me 6 performance cores. Or hell, even 6 efficiency cores. Because we're not going to be we're not going to be CPU bottlenecked by a 1080p graphics card. Give me 6 efficiency cores for super low voltage, low wattage power, and give me 20 or 24 or 28 execution units for graphics. That's what I want to see.
These are all going to end up in Chromebooks.
Oh no, these are beyond Chromebook. Yeah.
No. This is what they're like. Oh, this is going to be the new Chromebook processors.
Right.
We're going to put them on the map. It's going to make Chromebooks actually like worth buying now.
Yeah.
We've been contracted by Google to make these processors. Cloud gaming Chromebooks. Yeah, exactly.
We want at least 8 cores for some version of emulation. Yeah, but if we're also talking 2 generations out into the future, what more are you going to want to emulate between now and then? I don't see PS5 emulation happening, even PS4 emulation happening in the next 2 years. So, RPCS3 already plays fantastically well. The one that really stretches a lot of mobile CPUs is Switch emulation. But even that is pretty much satiated by modern CPUs today. If we get another 30% out of CPU cores, there's no reason we couldn't run efficiency cores to get that same level of performance. And again, it's about hedging your bets on how much performance you need to put into particular aspects. Running 16 cores doesn't necessarily mean your games are going to run better, especially if you've only got 12 execution units, whether it's RDNA 4 or whether it's XE3. Coffee and Cynicism says, Craft Computing, be sure to drink your Ovaltine has now become buy more CPUs. That's it? The advertisement? You can't have 20 execution graphics units. You'll put your eye out. PS3 needs 8 cores? 8 cores or 8 threads?
PS3?
PS3 emulation needs 8 cores. I think you're over genericizing.
I think no. 2, 3, maybe.
Yeah.
All right, what else we got here?
How's your beer treating you?
I'll tell you what. Not having lunch and
I love that you slurred. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, no. Tell you what. I only had some corn tortilla chips for lunch. And I mowed the lawn and pulled weeds outside all day today. So I was like, I'm kind of dehydrated.
Yeah.
And I had a 12-ounce can of hot water for hydration, but this 12.8% beer, I feel it. I'm like, I'm relaxed. I'm talking tech. I got my beer.
You look super chill.
I am chill because again, when I was in Florida, it was 18-hour days of just go. And it was like, I don't have time to talk to anyone. Luckily I did have a partner with me. And so it was very nice to like talk to someone. But at the same time, we were both go. We woke up at 6:30 every day and we had dinner at 11. So it was just, and we no lunches. Our lunches were pretzels and energy drinks. So, and then he's the type of person who only drinks Diet Coke for breakfast and lunch. So it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it all around fun. But it's like, all right. Yesterday felt pretty good. Like I said, I got to sit down. I watched a movie, had a sandwich, got to relax. I slept great. And then today, I think it was the first day, like, okay, normal routine. And then that already exhausted me. So having a normal routine now with a beer, doing this, something I enjoy doing, this is also very nice. So it's like, I feel good. Conversing with other people, even if it's online, still very relaxing. But yeah, no, enjoying my beer. Yours?
Mine is fantastic. Very, very tropical inspired hazy IPA. Pineapple, cantaloupe.
Ooh, I wonder if there's melon hop in
little orange. Like, yeah, no, it's fruit salad in a glass.
Oh no, this is very malt forward imperial IPA, which I am like super digging. Yeah. There's hops in it, but it's sweet, malty. I wouldn't say honey. It's not honey like a barley wine or anything, but it's just sweet. If you know what malt tastes like, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But I have a bunch of videos I need to shoot, and my studio is in complete disarray. My liquor cabinet looks fantastic, though. That's the great part. I got this free entertainment center, basically brand new, and the 2 towers are now my liquor cabinet, and there's lights in them. I'm like, oh,
nice!
It looks great. And then I got my liquor glasses separated from my beer glasses. Like, this looks good.
So,
And then I
John,
have
for our audience that was not born in the 80s, can you let them know what an entertainment center is?
Yes, it's the glorious thing where you put the CD and cassette player with the equalizer, you know, with all the things to the dials. No. It's these brown wooden cabinets.
Uh-huh.
It's not from IKEA, okay?
No.
It actually took screws to assemble this thing. Um,
An entertainment center was typically made from oak, almost always. And back in the day, we only had TVs up to a certain size, and it was usually 27 inches. Sometimes 32, but 32 you were rich.
You were rich.
Or you had a
20,
projection screen of some kind.
Yeah, 27 is usually your like the big. You had a big 27-inch screen.
Right. And so entertainment centers were basically large pieces of living room furniture, often with towers for all of your physical media, for CDs and VHS and everything else on the sides. They also held giant cabinets for your stackable stereo systems, and so your main receiver unit and your radio and your tape deck and your CD player and your phonograph and everything else. And then there was this giant cubby for a 27-inch TV to slide inside of it. And they were beautiful pieces of art. No, they weren't. They looked hideous even in the.
Oh, they were horrible. They were horrible. They had those sliding. Do you remember those sliding wood slats that almost looked like a bread drawer or a bread cabinet? That's what I remember our TV front cover was those sliding slatted wooden doors.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, no, you had some of the accordion doors on them.
Yes, yeah. So we had accordion doors, but it was slotted wood. But so the closest thing I can think of was like a bread drawer or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, it was so horrible. At the same time, though, you gotta respect the stack for the entertainment and audio system. You had manual EQ. You got like 16 channels of EQ. That's a respectable thing right there. You had your surround sound system. It was hardcore right there. Some dual cassette, maybe if you were lucky, a CD player, or some had even still a record player on top.
Yep.
Yeah. No, there was some mad respect for whatever age you lived in. Certain ones, there's mad respect.
Yeah.
Someone put in the Twin Towers.
Yeah.
No, one side's premium liquor, one side's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Nope. I actually did own an entertainment system. It was my or entertainment center. It was the one handed down from my dad. It was twin bookshelves that were properly sized for VHS tapes, all up and down the sides of it.
Oh gosh.
And had lights in the top of the cabinet. Mine had a half-height center section, and so you had the stereo stack on one side, and then the TV sat on the other with little cabinet doors underneath the TV, and then it had this giant archway with a light in the dead center of it, and so you had this giant empty space, so you could set like picture frames and artwork and things like that in like this giant empty dead space.
Oh, I took the dead space out. It's outside.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it would have hindered my TV because I have a smaller ceiling. But yeah, it does look like, if you join the Discord, it does look like the two towers in my studio. I have premium liquor on one end, low end liquor on the other end. Nice. But the real main reason I want it is actually the cabinet and drawers. So I can okay, I need to store this here and there, and I have a place for all my cords. So
yeah.
And it was free. So whatever. If it's worse comes to worse, I don't like it, I'll burn it. Whatever. Yep. It's free. So
it's oak, so it burns well.
Mm-hmm. It's either oak or it's faux oak.
A lot of them were real oak.
I think this is obviously faux oak, but it's particle board.
Is it particle board? Okay.
There's a chip I can see on the corner. It's particle board. It's faux oak.
Mine was solid. Mine was
Yeah,
solid.
well,
oak. Yeah.
that's heavy then.
No, it was very heavy. Anyway, that
Anyways,
brings me to the close of my first beer. So I'm going to open my second. Oh, perfect
same,
timing. Look at you.
same. Look at us.
So this one was sent over by Malbeth, a longtime supporter on the Patreon. And by long time, I mean one of my first 10 or 12, maybe 15 patrons, and has been supporting me since March or April of 2018. He's been on here a while, so shout out Malbeth. Much appreciated. Anyway, this comes from Blainville, Quebec, up in Canada. And it is the Nord Scotch Ale.
I didn't
Scotch
get one.
Ale de Nord.
What? I didn't get one.
Right.
What? I want a Canadian. So the Canadians are brewing Scotch ale. Okay, whatever.
It's a Quebecian brewing Scotch Ale. Correct.
I mean, at least we had Scots immigrating to the United States. I don't even know if Scots immigrated to Canada.
I'm sure they got some.
Well, that's probably why it took them so long to start making Scotch ales. Well, for my second, I am also opening, going back to our friend Aaron, El Segundo, and their
Ooh.
Czech Auger. So this is going to be a little bit lighter of a beer. This is actually probably one of the lighter beers I usually drink, but this is only 3.8%.
That's legal in Norway.
I know, but it's a dark beer, so it's a nice Czech style lager. Now, I have reviewed this with Steve, and honestly, we both thought it was delicious. So
I do like dark lagers.
no, this was just enough malt, but that lagery body to be like a light porter, a light porter. It was very delicious. Oh yeah, I could totally have this at Oktoberfest in the middle of the heat because it's so light with a sausage or something or pretzel,
Nice.
and it would be wonderful. A
So
slight coffee roasting.
There's the Scotch Strong Ale.
Oh yeah, there we go. Hey, look, we went from hazies to both of us have a dark multi beer.
Yes.
Almost like we planned this.
Ooh.
Ah, that's good.
That is butterscotchy delicious.
I kind of want to roast some potatoes right now.
That is a Werther's original wrapped in bacon. That is super, super good.
Bacon?
It doesn't taste like bacon. It's that caramely butterscotch.
Ah, okay. I was salty. Interesting.
Little salty, little very heavy butterscotch. It's just warm. It's that's what that is. Let's see. How goes the AI chasing if you are a C-suite executive looking to, I don't know, cut your workforce by 40% and just pass everything off to AI? If you're a C-suite, you're wondering why it's not going so well. If you are not a C-suite and you've been recently surveyed, 77% of recently surveyed employees report AI has increased workload and hampered productivity. Say it ain't so. What? You mean this technology that's in its infancy that's basically copy and pasting and sometimes just straight up making up isn't
Basically
ready
a
for
bunch of
prime
ifs.
time production to replace a 20-year experienced programmer?
What? A bunch of if statements aren't working for you? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Now, yeah, for basic means, sure, it's a great tool, but it ain't gonna take over what you need, especially in a moment of crisis.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you keep going with that. That's fine. That's cool. Go ahead and fire, the 15, 20-year employee that you had monitoring and helping your company. But now we got AI now. They'll learn the ins and outs and the nuances of everything you do within a matter of seconds because that's what was advertised, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, well, according to a recent study in partnership with Upwork Research Institute, Forbes interviewed 2,500 global C-suite executives, full-time employees, and freelancers. Results showed that the optimistic expectations about AI's impact are not aligning with the reality faced by many employees. Despite 96% of C-suite executives expecting AI to boost productivity, the study reveals that 77% of employees employing AI say it added to their workload and created challenges in achieving the expected productivity gains. To add insult to injury, nearly 47%, nearly half of employees say using AI say they don't know how to achieve the expected productivity gains their employers expect, and 40% feel their company is asking too much of them when it comes to AI.
Well, that aka your bosses don't know anything. That's
Mm-hmm.
basically what it is hey, I heard this news article, and by the way, the news article that I'm referencing, I only read the headline. Why can't we implement this with our job and make it so?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know the nuance? Do you know what I'm talking? No, read the article. It says, oh, it does like 20%, or it helps. It's a tool for your administrator. No, we're gonna fire our administrator anyways, and then
Yeah.
everyone can just request these things from AI and it'll fix it. That's not how it works, dude. But
Yeah.
whatever, go ahead, have fun, fire me, rehire me in 3 to 4 weeks, and I'm going to ask for a 45% increase in my salary.
Right,
And
because
with a
now I'm a
guarantee
contract
to,
employee. Now
yeah,
I'm a
exactly.
consultant.
Exactly. And I want a guarantee on X, Y, and Z if you fire me again. Yeah, no, that's the thing is it's so funny because we get even now with we'll get into this in the next article, but the culture within a company too is a thing.
Yeah.
You can what are you doing?
Sorry, Mike just asked what was the brewery. It's a Boreal Artisan Brews.
Oh, you were pointing it out. I was like, oh, you're trying
Yeah.
to
No.
reference something.
No.
But no, the culture within each individual company is a different thing. Like you can achieve the results multiple ways through programming, through networking, multiple different ways. And how you do that is dependent upon the culture and the policies each individual company does. And a new person coming in or an AI is assuming you're doing X, Y, and Z the way you're being taught. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this one computer over here doesn't have that, so we had to make this policy Z for this computer, blah blah blah. And having a person on site really helps. Those are the type of things that AI doesn't quite know yet, can't interpret. We've talked about this so much that AI right now is a great tool. It's a great tool to help administrators and the AI team, or possibly even the standard user, to find the answers they're looking for. But it's still not going to replace the hands-on expertise of your admins, the people that help build the system, the networking around your whole corporation. All of that is very niche integrated. It, it is a finite. I wouldn't bet that every major corporation is threaded on the finest of red lines, within their own individual things.
Yeah.
It's balanced. It's very hard, and there's a reason those guys are paid good money, but also like stressed out. And there's low level, mid level, high level. All of them have their weird tweaks, and whatnot. Anyways, I'm going on rampant of my own personal frustration with my own company that we'll get into the next article.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, no, I have touted AI as a productivity enhancer, but only if you keep your same workforce. If you add it to their tool set, it can be an enhancer. It's not going to replace a workforce. It's not going to subsidize a workforce. It's a tool that can make people more effective and can increase productivity and output, but not to the point of replacing someone with actual knowledge about what the hell they're doing. So
yeah, and even within what the hell they're doing is there are multiple ways to achieve one goal within a framework of a company, and an AI is probably just going to, oh, here's the generic version, but your company may not use that. And because there are special needs within all of those things. And if your corporation didn't follow the major structure of, hey, let's buy everyone the same PC and we integrate it into the network all the same way, there could be slight nuances. And it can be frustrating for the end user who's trying to communicate with this AI versus just talking to a physical person or an admin or an end user. They're like, okay, hang on. I know what's going on because I personally set this system up.
yeah,
I know. So I can go, okay, here, tweak this. You need X, Y, and Z driver instead. The AI didn't know that. It's in its infancy right now. It's a great tool for the admin side and even the user end side for certain things, but it is not a replacement at all. AI still right now is a tool. It is never a replacement. I haven't seen a darn thing, even in customer service. It's not a replacement. It's a tool. That's all it is. It's going to be the new, in my opinion, AI is going to be the new Google, and it's going to be the new front desk person to guide you to where you need to go to a physical person.
Yeah.
That's my opinion for the next at least 5 years. I think that's what AI is going to be for the next 5 years.
Yep. Sorry, I've been in the background.
I know. Yeah, I saw
fixing something. So I mentioned I was going to be in Nova Scotia. Yes, I'm going back to 45 drives at the end of August. If you're in Nova Scotia, all like 7 of you, we are doing a meetup, I believe, at the end on like Thursday or Friday. So that's like August 29th, I think. Check 45drives.com. They'll have a full list of what the happenings are.
What's the other Jeff doing for a video?
The other Jeff will not be there.
Oh, so
I'm going to be solo Jeff. I'm going to be
solo
the Jeff. Yeah.
Oh, so you're the Jeff. Okay, because I was expecting another pigeon video.
I can confirm that Tom Lawrence and Radal Brett will both be in attendance this time.
Nice. Okay.
So, yeah, no, it's going to be fun. But that conversation led to Jason Budney saying, I would love to see 45 drives make a chassis in the $400 to $450 range. And one of our mods apparently was walking their dog or something and set their phone in their pocket while they were doing so and banned Jason. So, Jason, you are unbanned now.
That's funny.
And our sincerest apologies. We're like, was that a mistake? Was that did we miss something that they said? No, they just responded to a, a topic in the chat, and then they were banned. What the hell?
My thigh banded you.
We have corrected that, and we apologize.
Internally, we actually discourse this now. There's going to be like some low level tech channel like, I was part of the Craft Computer Discord and they banned it, you know. And it was an internal thing because, and they're going to go like 3 years deep into video discussions and offhanded comments just to get like 30, 40 views.
Yeah.
If you do,
anyway, we have conducted a thorough internal review, and we found that we did nothing wrong, but at the same time, we are restoring your status. So, Jason, I apologize.
We're not upgrading your status. We're just restoring it.
We're just restoring it to where you were.
Yeah. With a slight limit for the next 2 weeks. You're still, but unfortunately, you have to be back on probation. So don't do anything wrong because we will automatically.
Now we're watching you. So
yeah, exactly. So
don't make us come back out there.
Well, that was. If anyone's checked out Jeff's other trip to Nova Scotia, it's a great video because they provided with him a lot of beer because they were expecting him. So I am curious: are you going to get the beer? Was it the beer server or what was it? What do they call it?
The kegerator or the beerinator.
The beerinator, yeah, it was like
they promised me one last year because they only made like 4 of them. And what this is basically a chest cooler in a 4U chassis.
Yeah.
And they promised me I would get one. And here we are 11 months later, and I don't have my beerinator yet.
So I think you
Brett,
need one.
Mitch,
and that,
Ashley, if you're watching, I'm itching for a beerinator in my server. In my server.
I mean right there, that's your water cooling. You could put fans underneath that to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
To cool the internal temperature of everything, you know. I don't know. You put an automatic ice machine going into it to refill it, and you have a drainage for the melted ice. I mean, I could see it. I could see it working. You also have you could use it for your temperature gauge, your product.
I could. Yeah. I will be bringing a couple of those with me to show them off. I don't think we're going to have any of the PoE betas yet, unless IDProm pulls out a miracle. We are just about to the point of being able to send off for our PoE development board.
Okay.
We're near the end of that process of getting a couple prototypes for PoE in.
Yeah, but anyone checking out for like server temperature stuff, seriously, go check out the link in the description below for
They're sold out.
Products.
They're sold out.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man!
Yeah, we sold all 400. So
I'm behind on the times already.
Yep.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah, the beta boards are gone. The next announcement you will hear around availability should be sometime around October. We're hoping sometime in October to have an official announcement as far as what the next product will be. This will be a full retail product, not a beta. And will be available for pre-order at that announcement. So
yeah, well, it comes with a bottle opener is what it is. It's just so internal temperature of your server and crack open a beer.
I'm not saying there will not be a bottle opener in it yet. I've got a couple ideas on how to potentially do that. So
oh gosh, the reinforcement of that, or to be like that'd be amazing on the board. I guess you'd have to make it like a 3D printed case, but anyways, yeah, that would be fun to see.
Yeah, no, we're not integrating anything into the board, but I have considered integrating a bottle opener into the case of it itself.
That would be funny.
Maybe as a special edition kind of thing.
There you go. Like for top 50 pledges or buys, something like that. That would be funny.
Yeah.
Or random 50. That would be kind of fun.
Yeah. I will say the first orders for the betas started arriving on Monday. So I've started getting some notifications that some have showed up. In the first 25 orders, I included a custom bottle opener.
Well, the keychain
so the first The keychain one. So the first 25 people who ordered Axe Effect got a custom keychain bottle opener with a thermometer and some water droplets on my logo. There's 25 of those, and they're gone. So
I think something like that's cool. I think
yeah,
doing something like that, even for the production of like, hey, there's a random number out there for the special edition gold, whatever.
right.
That'd be kind of fun to encourage people to buy more, because it's a great tool on top of everything else.
Right.
So,
but yeah, if you were one of my first 25 orders, you got a keychain bottle opener. So let me know if you have one, because I want to know. I want to know. I want to know who got one.
Yeah, it'd be great to see it, like even like an Instagram post, Facebook, Twitter, X post, some picture of it would be kind of cool to see in the wild or in its natural habitat.
Yeah. On top of the Burinator, please take a fedora to Nova Scotia and make Perry the Proxinator. I do have confirmation that Innator is in all of their names because of Phineas and Ferb. I have confirmation of that from the owner of the company. So the reason it's the store Innator is because of Phineas and Ferb. I can't say anything yet, but I was asked about potential naming of a product coming up, and we talked about this on the podcast I was on, the 45 Drives podcast last year, where I challenged 45 Drives to make a particular product that I saw a hole in the marketplace for. And they're like, we're totally going to make that. And I said, do I get to name it? And Doug, their CEO, said, as long as you have Innator in the name. So there might be a Craftinator or something like that.
Beerinator, yes.
Coming soon. I may or may not have received an email recently asking me for certain details.
It's going to be the Jeffinator.
The Jeffinator. And then if we make another one, it's going to be the other Jeffinator. That's amazing lore. Yes, thank you. Secret merch when purchasing. Nice touch. Thank you. I love doing things like that. There was one week where we received like we had done a little bit of merch, and I had kind of let my stocks run a little bit lower than I normally do. Like I had like 4 glasses in stock was all, instead of like the normal 2 to 3 cases in stock that I normally have. I usually don't monitor stock because I just order them as I need them. And I go, oh, I opened my last case of glassware. It's time to order another 2 or 3 cases of glassware. And I'll do that, every couple of months. All of my stock had gotten to the point where I had like 4 things left in stock. And I did an ad where I put a merch ad into one of my videos, and that video popped off. And so all of a sudden I had like 40 orders that came in. And all of them had things at requested items that I no longer had in stock because I had like 4 left on hand. So a lot of those orders, it took a couple of weeks even. And in fact, some of my shipping boxes were out of stock. I had to custom source some shipping boxes, and it took like 6 days to get shipping boxes in to be able to just send the merch that I cut out. And so
that's when you get the Exo knife and just start cutting cardboard, Jeff.
We did that. Anyway, a couple of the orders ended up being like 12 days late or something like that. Like we usually try to fulfill within a week. I'm not Amazon. I cut merch like twice a week. So if you order, usually on Thursday, sometimes I'm a little hungover on Thursday. I usually wake up on Thursday and I will go cut merch from the week. And then usually like on Sunday, I'll wake up and I'll cut merch that was ordered over the weekend. But it just so happened we received this flood of orders and everything was out of stock. Like every single person wanted something that I didn't have. And it's like, I can't ship any of these out. So I just tossed a bottle opener into every single one of them. I tossed in one of my wood-handled bottle openers into every single order. And just like...
It was like Hops and Brews items are just sold out.
Right, Hops and Brews
just flying out the shelf.
Get rid of this crap.
Yeah, we have to give it to them. It's complimentary now. See, that's what you need to bring to Nova Scotia. Is like, yeah. So all I got for you guys is this Hops and Brews coasters.
Yeah.
And glassware.
Last year, I brought up keychain bottle openers that had Craft Computing's logo on one side and 45 Drive's Fangirl logo on the other.
Okay.
So I'm actually wondering what I'm going to bring up there this year, because I gotta step it up a little bit.
Right, a little bit.
One of my thoughts was bringing up a couple of pint glasses at least, but the nucleation on the bottom using 45 Drive's logo.
That would be fun. Didn't you say you were getting like whiskey glass, not whiskey stones, but whiskey glasses, or like
I do have some Glencairns. I do have some Glencairns.
So
I've also got some
that would
shot
be kind of fun.
glasses.
Yeah, so something like that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, both of those I'm hoping to bring to the store very soon. Those have been when someone asks how long it took for me to like get the design right, it's like, oh, the design was right within a couple of days. It took 2 cases of glassware of cutting on my laser to figure out the settings that my laser needed to be at to get an etch that was smooth to the touch and textured and the right color and the right consistency that also didn't just fracture the glass upon shooting it with laser.
Yep.
So yeah, the first glass that I shipped took 49 glasses to figure out. And after that, I'm just printing money. But it's the same kind of thing with every glass that I bring in. That's why I don't have a ton of glasses because I've vetted certain glassware to do certain settings. And every new piece of stemware, glassware, whatever that I bring in has to go through that 2 or 3 case process. It's multiple hundreds of dollars to get the first product out the door. And that's just in raw stock. That's not
so
counting
that's
the
why
time
my
that I have to set on the
glassware is
laser.
like the etching's kind of like weird on one side. No. I
Hey,
got the
now.
back stock.
By the time yours came out, I had already figured it out. So
well, I guess we can get into the other large story that everyone else already talked to. That's not us because it happened a while ago.
it happened on Thursday, as all big news tends to do.
Oh, that's typical. Like, oh yeah, they knew it. And that's why they dropped it that day. They're like, oh,
of course, 12 hours after we sign off, there's going to be a global infrastructure catastrophe.
For the tech industry, probably one of the largest in the world that'll ever be for the next 10 years.
That I'm going to be the last one to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, that's how it is.
Anyway, CrowdStrike. We've all heard who they are and what they did. Who they are is, just to catch everyone up, CrowdStrike is an IT security company. They help secure endpoints. One of their primary jobs, or one of their primary features, is integrating into Windows Defender and preventing viruses and ransomware. That's one of their predominant features. And this is done through a module called the Falcon sensor. And that is through CrowdStrike's own proprietary software stack. But the Falcon sensor runs on Windows systems and is designed to prevent malware and specifically ransomware incursions. So your receptionist opening invoice.pdf from a random Gmail account, which is first name with 38 characters after it. All of a sudden, it opens up ransomware. This is designed to not do that.
Wait, what? You don't have OneDrive protecting you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The stupidest OneDrive.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yeah, OneDrive protects from ransomware. My blood. Anyways, sorry for that. I hate that. Microsoft. Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyway, the way they do this is a very low-level driver required for the system to boot is initiated as part of Windows Defender stack. And this sensor receives periodic updates for virus signatures and antivirus algorithms and ransomware vectors and things like that. Well, last Friday, CrowdStrike issued a content configuration update for its software that was, quote, and I'm quoting from the Verge article here, supposed to gather telemetry on possible novel threat techniques. These updates are delivered regularly, but this particular configuration update caused Windows to crash. And the reason it caused it to crash was they sent out a file, which was 40 kilobytes in size, which was supposed to be the antivirus definition file. That was hexadecimally all zeros.
It was null.
It was null. It returned null. It returned 0. The entire file was 0.
Yeah.
40 kilobytes of zeros.
40 kilobytes of nulls, zeros, of nothing.
Right.
Yep.
When the driver looked at this definition, it didn't like it. And it crashed. Being a low-level kernel driver, it crashed the system. Causing a blue screen of death, and then a system reboot anywhere between 1 and 10 seconds later, to which it would try to load Windows, and then immediately crash again.
Yep.
Now, it was actually pretty quickly identified what particular file was causing the issue. It was a .sys file in the system32 folder, which contained the virus definitions file, or the virus algorithm file, that was causing the main driver to crash. And if you deleted this file, Windows would boot up just fine.
However,
the fix means deleting that file. On the individual machine with physical access.
On a weekend. Yes.
On a weekend.
On a weekend where most probably you needed admin access. Most admins were probably gone. Yeah. Yep.
There's a term in the industry called No Patch Friday. Read Only Friday is another one that we often throw around. Because if you're gonna screw up, don't fuck with my weekend.
Oh. Never a Friday, never a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're good.
Patch Tuesday. Adhere to Patch Tuesday.
There's
a reason we get DVD and Blu-ray new releases on Tuesday. It's because on Tuesday, I've got time to figure out when I'm going to watch this movie.
Never a Friday, never a Monday.
Never a Friday, never a Monday.
Yep, that's the dog. You just don't do those days.
CrowdStrike issued a signature update on Friday morning AU time, which was like super late Thursday night. I think this hit 10 p.m. Thursday night Pacific time. And so it was like Friday 2 p.m. or something like that Australian. And basically caused the world to crash. This was banks, this was telecommunication, this was airlines, this was emergency services, this was anyone who ever needs antivirus and malware remediation services on a corporate level. Yeah. Oh, and to make matters worse, if you also run systems at this level and require this level of security to your endpoints, you likely have encryption via BitLocker enabled on your systems. Which means if you need to modify a file pre-boot, you need your BitLocker key to unlock the system to modify that file.
Oh my god, that's just who screwed up.
It was the perfect storm of what the fuckism.
So yeah, now so I was talking with Steve about this, and it was so from my understanding was, and everyone said, how did a compiler not see this? Well, it's because again, if that file is full of zeros and nulls, theoretically, depending upon your settings, null is still a value. Those zeros are still a value. They'd be like, yeah, it's fine in compile, but in actual practice, how many, let me put it this way. How many people sit there and say, oh, this works on my computer, on my development side. It didn't work in the wild, you know?
Yeah. Now there's a couple of fun things about this. Cosworth chimes in with $2. Thank you very much, Cosworth. Microsoft suggested fix reboot over 15 times. And I'm sorry, I also missed a couple of super chats. Cosworth also sent over $2. You're going to master boot record, concert, and PDX. What?
I think that was for me.
Okay.
We were talking about concerts this coming up in Portland. So he was talking, I think that was for me.
And I sincerely apologize, Mike. I thought I read this, but then I didn't. Mike also sends over another 20 Canadian rupees. Thank you so much. Jeff, John, everyone, I'd love your thought on this. I'm in QA automation, and I'm working to use an Azure GPT model fine-tuned with past test failure RCA findings to help determine and categorize future test failures. That's a very specific question. I'm not a programmer. I am not a software guy at all. So this is back to our AI accelerating and increasing productivity in the workflow of developers. It is certainly possible to... Basically what you're asking is how to future predict failures based on past failures. And so how to take RCAs and postmortems and make them applicable to future potential failures. That's a very specific question of which I have very little insight.
And the whole point, though, the whole aspect of Azure was to bypass all of this stuff and be like, no, we already do that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is kind of the whole selling point. I mean, we might not talk about it, but I'll briefly say something of like the whole sell point of Azure was like, oh, we never crash. We don't, because we have redundancies upon redundancies, the backups upon backups, everything else. And the one thing you might have probably heard is, why don't you have a redundancy? Why doesn't the airline? Why doesn't the hospital? Why doesn't these have redundancies? Well, Microsoft ensures they have them built in. And so having an Azure GPT model try to fine tune this stuff, it probably won't find it, because it'll sit there and say, yeah, this probably won't happen because of the practices. This comes back to what we were talking about of the AI being in its infancy, because it's just going off of if statements and articles that it's grabbing from the internet of like, Microsoft policies of Azure are X, Y, and Z, and this will never happen because blah, 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 blah. So don't implement this. Yeah, but there's just human error. There's just culture within the environment that might happen. There is just something that might happen. Do you plan for Armageddon every day in your office? No, you don't plan for that, because your owner will probably never approve the funding for it, for one thing, and you'll drive your staff insane being like, we got to approve or prepare for all of these Armageddon scenarios. So you just prep for what you can. This prepping for Azure, that's kind of hard. I don't know. It's you should have just follow some basic IT policies, local backups, maybe spin up multiple servers. If you are going to have something Azure or somewhere else, make sure to have multiple servers backed up, at least one to two. Yeah. Luckily my company, we did have a West Coast and an East Coast server, and we just cloned it. And so we were only down for 3 hours 3.5 hours. So that was nice.
Just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean you get to start ignoring best practices for redundancy, especially with geolocation.
What do we say? RAID's not a backup. Cloud is not a backup. You know? So yeah, there are still basic practices you should follow.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't need to go get a GPU model to fine tune things. And what it's going to fine tune is maybe 10% of what best practices should already take care of. Yeah. Is your company going to care that you were down an extra 10 minutes? No, because if you're back up within an hour or 30 minutes or 2 hours, 3 hours, even if whatever, hey, you're back up. You're not down for 3 to 4 days.
Yep.
You know,
I have done ransomware remediation multiple times for a number of different organizations. And a lot of that remediation is, number one, let's get functioning again. Number two, let's figure out who got us, how they got us, and what the effects are. Did they exfiltrate data? Did they do this? Did they do X, Y, Z? Is there disclosures we have to, are there disclosures we have to make? Are there, any number of circumstances that, we have to report data breaches or whatever else? I've dealt with that. And just because it's in the cloud doesn't mean your remediation has to be any less lax.
Yeah. No, exactly. No, what is that? Keep the KISS. Keep it simple, stupid, or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah. It really is that. It's just, whether you're on the cloud or not, understand cloud's a server, back it up somewhere else.
Yep.
Whether if it's okay, your Midwest, Central, East Coast, always have another one to be spun up, have a drive, or have your data drive stored somewhere else, or a backup somewhere else, whether it's local or cloud-based, but try to keep bare minimum 2.
Yeah.
2 up. 3 is better, but bare minimum 2.
So anyway, the crux of this is CrowdStrike sent an update on a late Thursday, early Friday, that they definitely should not have sent. And caused some headaches for IT around the world on a Friday.
Minimal headaches.
Right. So here's an interesting piece from The Verge. Updates to the actual sensor, and that is the Falcon sensor, and that is the actual definitions file within the driver itself. So that's the file at question here. Updates to the actual sensor don't come from the cloud and typically include AI and machine learning models that will allow CrowdStrike to improve its detection capabilities over long term. Some of these capabilities include things like template types, which is code that enables new detection and is configured by the type of separate rapid response content that was delivered on Friday. So again, they're delivering a definitions file on Friday. Now, why is this noteworthy? CrowdStrike says that their internal testing software that they pass updates through didn't throw up a red flag.
Because it came with a value.
The only reason it didn't throw up a red flag is because it compiled properly. That's the only reason. It can be the only reason.
No,
had they tried... This had a 100% takedown rate.
No, again, I honestly think it was a return to value of null, and for some reason, null was an acceptable value because it returned a value. So therefore, compiling was fine, and there was, let's just push it out. It's fine.
Compiling was fine, and their internal testing procedure simply relied on automated tools, not actually pushing to a development environment. And that's kind of the point I'm getting down to, is they didn't actually test this. They ran it through an algorithm, and the algorithm said, well, it returned a value, so it's probably okay.
Well, yeah, it's funny. It was Steve and I were talking about this of like with Windows 11 and 10 of how the debugging and everything like that is now upon the user end. And it
Yeah.
used to be they had their own internal debugging system, and that's
Yeah.
how it should be. And this is very blatant. Oh, we'll just use either AI or something else that we rely on instead of an internal usage of people that we trust.
Mhm.
You know, that okay, here they know the ins and outs. They know like we are trained to break this crap.
Yeah. Yep. And quite
Yeah.
honestly, this was probably an update they do all the time, and it's probably never really had an issue, except that it has before. They did the same thing to Linux systems about 3 months ago, but the driver isn't as tightly integrated and isn't a boot level driver, and so while the driver itself did crash on Linux systems, it didn't bring the systems to a screeching halt. Um, the main issue that happened here, because we all know the world runs on Linux. At the server level, everything's Linux. Every database, every website, everything that you use on a daily basis that is not your own system is running through a Linux system somewhere. The issue here, oh, sorry. And those Linux systems have backups geographically, regionally, physically, virtually. They have backups. You can spin up a backup, you can revert to a previous timeline, you can do a number of different things to bring systems back up once they're affected. The issue here is that endpoints run on Windows. And this particular issue affected Windows, affected corporate Windows endpoints. When those endpoints go down, there's no such thing as a backup for endpoints. There's a known good image because we roll out these systems all the time. There's software validation and update validation depending on the vendor, but some vendors, tightly control their rollouts based on licensing or just the sheer will to throw their dick around. Microsoft. And you will update on our schedule. And you abide by that. The issue is that if the endpoints are down, your business still fails. Even if the servers are still running, your business can still fail. If you still have a record and a database and a SQL database of all tickets that you've sold to airline passengers with their names and addresses and everything else and other validation information, but then you can't print the damn boarding pass, your business still fails. And there's no backup. There's no feasible backup for rolling out a new boarding pass printer because it's obscenely expensive.
You just go to Walmart and buy one of those $40 printers. You're fine.
Kinda, right? Well, let's think about endpoint machines. I dealt a lot with endpoint machines, as all of us do in IT. What is an endpoint machine? An endpoint machine is a system that you image with a known good version of Windows. You deploy certain policies and expect it to function a certain way, and then users log in with often an AD authenticated account. They get whatever policies that push down with that, whatever file shares push down with that, and then they work on that machine, right?
Yep.
Do you have another machine sitting on the shelf for every single machine you have in deployment?
Nope.
Of course
not. No. And do you have a guy going around with how many computers are, let's go one airport, going around manually having to update every one of those computers?
Right.
Probably not. You don't. Because I'm betting there's zero IT support in your local airport.
I bet there's a guy.
I bet there's not. I bet there's a guy.
There might not even be. You're right.
I bet they sit there and have an endpoint and be like, oh, that's it. We remote into everyone. We push a packet out and every single computer updates. Therefore, there we go. Instead of, how many gates, how many terminals, are out there? We're talking 300, 400, 500 computers bare minimum for the gates. and one guy doing IT, maybe two guys, that's 3 days of work. So yeah, they probably just push up.
Just at Portland International, just at PDX here. There's how many computers that run check-in. There's every single terminal. There's every single check-in station that is manned by a person. You have your self check-in stations with the baggage ways and the printers for your boarding pass. You then have 300 individual terminals, A through F, 1 through 35.
No, there's probably like five terminals per airliner, and that's at the front gate.
Yeah.
5 terminals for self-checkout. That's not including then there's external outside the baggage check-ins that those terminals have to have.
Yeah.
And then there's every gate and every, what is it? It's 1, 2, and 3, A through Z. So there's 25 there. So you're talking at least 24. So 75 to 73 terminals there. Security, blah, blah, blah. What's behind the scenes we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And then what servers are communicating to all the other servers outside.
Yeah.
And that's just PDX. Imagine John Wayne, LAX, Chicago, something way bigger.
Right. Like PDX is an international airport. It's not a small airport. It's also not a
small
big airport.
But it's not a big airport.
And just in that one facility, there's like 500 endpoints that are required just for you to board a plane. That's it.
And then so if they were to hire, but majority of the time, like, oh, we don't need an IT guy because we have a service that remotes in or does a global, update, whatever. So there's not one guy there to be like, okay, I got to enter my password for admin rights. So reboot this, delete this file, go in 10 minutes, this one terminal, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next. He's not doing that because they don't have something like that. They're waiting for an update to fix everything. And then Crowdfire saying, no, please do this manually.
Yeah. The reason, as Cosworth points out, that Microsoft recommended rebooting your system upwards of 15 times until it turned back on, was the CrowdStrike definitions file, the Falcon sensor, is a kernel level driver. Very similar to your network level driver, to your network stack drivers. There is a chance, a 1 in 15 chance, that your network driver would finish loading prior to your CrowdStrike Falcon sensor driver. And there's also a 1 in 15 chance that your Falcon sensor driver would search for an update to its definition file prior to fully loading the driver. And so that's why the reboots worked. Is as soon as CrowdStrike figured out that they had issued a faulty driver, a corrupt driver, they immediately replaced that driver with a new definition file. And if your system was fast enough to load the network stack and then seek out the update and then download the update and then delete the old file and enable the new file before the old file, the corrupt file, loaded and crashed the driver, you had a chance.
Yeah. No,
and sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. And I will speak for a lot of different people in that anything that had a greater than 1 gigabit network card in it, let's say you had a 2.5 or a 5 gig NIC, those didn't work.
Oh yeah, no, you needed a slow connection for your
because those drivers are so slow to load. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, though, I will state, though, my experience, though, was more airport, which those look like, I swear, some of them, Windows 8.1. I swear some of them look like Windows 8.1. Some really old ones, but at least Windows 10. At least
Yeah.
Windows 10. I didn't see a single 11 system out there. So that's possible, and I'm betting all of those were pretty cheap drivers or devices. But yeah, no, it was horrible that hospitals, airports, data centers, everything was affected by this nationally and globally.
Yeah.
And what did CrowdStrike offer them as an apology, as something? Oh, you know what? Here's $10 for like an Uber Eats. That's good enough
It's
for you.
worse than even that. So this started popping up at 8 o'clock this morning, 8:40 this morning. That CrowdStrike says, we're sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
South Park, if no one got that reference.
Yes. CrowdStrike says, we're sorry. By giving any affected company a $10 Uber Eats gift card. This is funny on so many levels. Number one, if you are a company and you have been affected by CrowdStrike, this is the same rule as your plane has been indefinitely delayed. Would you like a $100 coupon off a future flight? No, you don't take the $100 coupon because you're settling for a $100 coupon. You take the cash prize of you're going to feed me, you're going to board me, and you're going to compensate me for my time, which is like $100 an hour, up until the point that I board another plane and get to my destination. Mm-hmm. You never, ever take the settlement offer that they give you in the airline outside of room and board. If they say we've partnered with the local hotel, they're going to put you up for the night. Here's a voucher for the restaurant downstairs, and we'll get you on the first flight out in the morning. You take that.
And here's an Uber to get there.
But you as a passenger still have recompense for.
Why didn't I get home on time? Yeah.
Right. And oftentimes that starts at like $600.
I had to pay $500 to get home.
Yep. So no, never take the settlement offer. CrowdStrike sending an Uber Eats gift certificate to every affected company is kind of the settlement offer. Hey, we're sorry we caused multiple trillions of dollars worth of economic damage. Hey, Delta Airlines, here's a $10 Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Think of the absurdity of that sentence. Hey, not every employee who works for Delta Airlines and has been working tirelessly for the last 5 days to bring Delta Airlines back up and operational. Hey, Delta Airlines, you the corporation / person. Here is a $10 Uber Eats. I also love that $10 is just enough money to get you like 2/3 of something.
Well, I mean, like, I can't even get a full a meal at McDonald's for $10. Yeah.
I can't get a meal at Burger King for less than $12.50.
Exactly. I was like, no, I need at least $25, and then I could here's the super size me meal, plus I'm gonna get a dessert.
Right.
$10 won't get me that. $10 is value menu, bottom shelf, getting a McChicken and 4-piece McNugget with maybe 2 sauces because they're going to charge me for the second sauce, and I upgraded to a medium fry. That's $10.
Right. You can barely get a bag of dicks in Seattle for $10.
Wait. Is there like a store called Dick's?
Oh, you're not. Yeah. No, there's a burger joint called Dick's.
I got that. I was just thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Just making
family friendly, right? Oh, it's family friendly. We're not at that hour yet. So
you can barely get a bag of dicks in Seattle for $10.
It's still a funny joke.
Yes.
Again, I like the beer. My beer's affecting me. I'm in a very relaxed, happy place because last week I was very frustrated because I had to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
I had to deal with this in the sense of it was an hour and a half of the West Coast time that my office, which was my recommendation to go into Azure Central, again, just happened to hit Azure Central. That was just a roll of the dice. Um, and so they just railed me, and I'm already on 36 hours of just bombardment of work, go, go, go. Wake up 2 a.m., fly to Florida. Once you land, go, go, go. And I thought I was done for the day, and then nope, had to remote in with hotel Wi-Fi, which was so horrible. I ended up using my cell phone service to remote into our server via our Azure. Actually, it was my computer at work, which I couldn't remote into Azure, but my cell phone service was better than the local hotel Wi-Fi. And navigating all that through my cell phone. And it's just like, my goodness, you gotta be kidding me. East Coast time, we were not up and running till 11:30, which would have been, yeah, so like 9:30 West Coast time.
Yeah.
To get, we had to spin up a new server and everything. But it was just one of those like, screw you guys, screw you so hard,
Yep.
and we bought you to not have this happen, and it's just like, and then now to here's $10, for your discomfort. You just, no, I'm sorry, no, but actually, I'm quite curious. I saw in the chat, was anyone else, and maybe we'll hit this, but later on, save it for later. Anyone else affected by this? I'd love to hear stories, not just like, oh, yeah, I was affected, but if anyone, so hang on till the end. But anyone else affected by this
Yeah.
crash, and what happened? How'd you deal with it? Are you still dealing with it? Because some places are still dealing with it. Airports are still dealing with it to today. So
Right.
I'd love to hear what's if anyone has.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. Now, one of the things that I wanted to touch on was people have been scouring through the CrowdStrike terms of service, and the CrowdStrike terms of service says, hey, if we cause an issue, sorry, we can issue you a refund for that particular license, but we're not liable for that.
No, it's not gonna work.
Terms of service ends at gross negligence. I actually made this comment way earlier in the week. But Leonard French, if there's any Leonard French fans in the audience, he got on and he did a very good piece about the CrowdStrike terms of service, in which he touched on this particular issue of you can't contract your way around gross negligence. And this situation with CrowdStrike may touch into gross negligence. You are expected as a provider of software to provide a certain level of functionality. It's expected that your programmers will be well trained. It's expected that you will catch the majority of viruses. It's expected that you will run in the background and do your duty diligently. Any time you're buying something from a company, there is a little bit of a caveat for negligence. There is a little bit of a caveat for we screwed up. There were extenuating circumstances which caused a massive issue for which we certainly could not have foreseen. There's no business best practices or anything in the scope of reality. Let's say a company gets taken out by a freaking meteor. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no way a company
Armageddon
could
level.
plan
No, Armageddon level, yeah.
for an Armageddon level event. Okay? And your business was affected. However, it was not the negligence of this company that caused that. In this case, as CrowdStrike has basically admitted, our only first line of defense for validating updates is whether or not it compiled properly. In a lot of circumstances, may constitute gross negligence. You should internally test your own software. You should ensure that it works on 100 machines before deploying it out to 8.5 million endpoints. There should be some level of accountability for your internal practices and abilities before it gets pushed out to a customer, especially with an update like this that had a 100% kill rate.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only issue would be like if their internal policies have changed to say, therefore, we have tested this, let's go with AI, this feature to compile our software, and then all customers have to agree upon, terms of service. We have a new terms of service. How many companies have, here's the new terms of services, please agree to this, and no one reads it, type of thing. How many cell phones have that? CrowdStrike, I don't think that happened, but just companies have had that.
But again, even if you say we're allowed to desecrate your corpse and there's nothing you can do about it, there are some things you can explain away in the contract terms of service, and there are other things you cannot. And one of the things you cannot contract out is gross negligence. Not doing your due diligence properly, not vetting your own software through trusted best practices established by an industry that's 50 years old at this point.
I
pushing something to production on a Thursday afternoon without validating it constitutes gross negligence because you knew better.
Unless the gross negligence was like you were saying, an AI type tool to be like, oh, this was the tool itself was tested, but not within our environment, and we didn't know that. So therefore, it's not our technical fault because the tool was verified to be 100% accurate. But then going back to be like, yeah, it's just a tool, and me saying like, yeah, it's within your own culture.
I'm not going to get into the weeds of.
I think that's what it was. Honestly, that's what I think what it was. I think they used a tool. They didn't test it, and it was they were like, oh, it's a third-party software or an AI thing. It was approved by an outside source. And it was like green light, green light, green light, green light. Push it.
Right.
We are fine. Instead of a traditional old school, let's have our team debug this, going through a crew of people, and then to find an issue. Yeah. I think that's what happened. That's my personal opinion. That's not any. I have zero facts to back that up.
Michael S. also says terms of service say agree to arbitration. That also goes out the window in cases of gross negligence, though. Because agreeing to arbitration means that we have a disagreement within the terms of service of something that you should have been liable for, and we agree to not bring this before a jury trial for damages. Once you hit the criteria for gross negligence, which is not that high, even terms for sorry, you agreed to arbitration only gets thrown out the window because we're well past of the point of negotiating what are the terms of service. Yeah. Cosmer says, I can say the federal government is pissed at CrowdStrike, wrath becoming.
No.
The 7 Cs are pissed off at CrowdStrike today. This was trillions of dollars in economic loss for these companies. Trillions of dollars in
Was
economic loss.
It's an interesting thing because I swear I saw a article stating that crowdsource or CrowdStrike stock dropped 33%, but then now I am only seeing 14. I was like, a 33%, that's Armageddon. They're done.
They have since corrected. So trading of CrowdStrike was at like 360 at the time of the event. It dropped to like 290 and then recovered to like 310. As of today, it's down to 260, and so they're down 40%.
Yeah, no, they're yeah. So
This is not financial advice.
No, don't. I mean, if you want to, whatever. But that's don't follow us. And now I heard Microsoft took like a 3 or 4% hit too. But for Microsoft, that's quite large.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's not going to kill Microsoft. I don't know if both companies are done. I really don't think so, because there's too many contracts they have already to keep them afloat. I just think that ongoing they'll be
We have
fine.
a similar situation that took place 15 years ago. 15, 18 years ago, something like that. McAfee antivirus
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, okay.
sent out a definition update to their antivirus software, which ran on Windows,
Yep.
which deleted service host, svchost.sys.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
svchost.sys is the thing that mediates all drivers on your system. So surprisingly enough, when McAfee registered syshost, SVC host, as a threat and deleted it, Windows no worky no more. And there's no recovery for that.
Hey. Oh god, it's so funny.
And
that was
when you
eight, wasn't that 8? Or was it 7?
it was XP 7.8. It was that era.
I thought yeah. I thought it was 7,
Maybe
7
early
or 8.
8, but it was definitely 7.
Yeah.
McAfee had all complaints will be handled through arbitration. They had, we're not responsible for outages. We're not responsible for this. We're not responsible for that. Do you remember how it ended for McAfee?
Nothing happened.
Oh no, a lot happened. They were liquidated and purchased by Intel for pennies on the dollar.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So this has happened before, and the floor is not as low as the floor can go. We've just seen public speculation of trading in value tank 40%. What happens when litigation starts on you should have known better?
Oh, yeah. No, this is going to be a thing for the next 4 years. We may not hear about every article, but I'll guarantee you this is going to be an investigation for at least the next 4 years. 2 years, we're probably going to hear about something big.
And by the way,
okay, I thought you froze.
Sorry to interrupt. By the way, as chat points out, and this was my favorite tidbit as well. Hold on, let me pull up the actual article here. I don't want to get this wrong. Copy link. Where's that? There we go. So back in, I think it was, dang it. Sorry. Wrong one. There we go. So back in 2010, so 14 years ago, McAfee had a colossal glitch in Windows XP that took down a good part of the internet because of that service host takedown. The man who was McAfee's CTO at the time is the current CEO of CrowdStrike.
That I did not know. I did not know that. That's funny.
Uh-huh. This guy has overseen the two largest self-owns in history for computer security.
Oh, that
He was
I
the
did not know.
CTO of McAfee Antivirus in 2010 when they nuked Service Host. He then went out to, he was executive in residence for Warbung Pincus, worked to assemble a world-class team that later became CrowdStrike. So basically went on to become a founding member of CrowdStrike. Wrote the original business plan and raised one of the largest Series A rounds in security industry. Became the CEO of CrowdStrike in January of 2012.
So, my gosh. So it's just bad practice. But
Literally,
well,
the two largest security industry mishaps happened under his watch.
yeah. Yeah, well, he's done, but probably not. But oh my gosh, just then it comes down now I'm with that information. Now I'm more like cultural structure of the corporation. How is that formed? How are the policies internally done? What's going on there? Are we actually managing the correct policies that we need for these security corporations, these larger infrastructures?
Right.
But you can't regulate that crap. Sorry, stuff. It's
I dropped an F-bomb.
I,
You're cool with crap.
well, okay, yeah, but it's just you can't regulate that. And then he probably already had connections with inside Windows to be like, yeah, trust me, we're good to go. Honestly probably got the contract because of a buddy. And that's again personal speculation. Um, it's just the stupidness of what we always constantly talk about too, of like who will get you elevated. But man, that's just I didn't know that. And that makes my brain think of just like
Uh-huh.
you can easily go into so many dark rabbit holes with that little tidbit.
Yep.
And that's really bad.
The two largest security fails in history happened under the same watch.
Under the same watch of one guy.
Yep.
At the same time, and again, here's another. Why is that not being reported on? Why is it that you are the one telling me this and I didn't read an article about that already?
Right? Shiny Thing 7 says, "Oh look, a golden parachute."
So it's just like
he had enough money being ousted as the CEO of McAfee for the largest technical gaffe in history to go and form a new security company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
Allison says, will he go for the third? Is he gonna get the hat trick?
So he's gonna go for Apple now. He's going for Apple.
Right.
He did Linux, or he did Windows.
We did Linux. We did, yeah.
Yeah, he did Windows, he did Linux, then Windows again, and then now we're gonna do Apple.
That's right.
So Linux one wasn't as big, but they were still there. So
yeah, what does he get for the hat trick? That's what I want to know. Is there like a ribbon cutting ceremony? Is there a trophy?
Internally with like all the nerd groupies on, dude, watch this. I'm gonna start a corporation and everyone's still gonna trust me. Watch this, it's gonna be great. It's like a bingo shot card. Like, all right. If I get a third corporation to trust me, everyone's gonna take a round. Let's go.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they did it. 33 billion down the drain. Shots.
Yes.
All right.
Meanwhile, the rest of us are struggling to eat.
Yeah, whatever. We're trying to spin up servers and keep our mediocre companies afloat and whatnot, or just trying to get on an airplane to get back home.
Yep.
Or trying to have a peaceful life at a hospital and remain alive, but no, they can't check us in because I don't exist anymore in this server. Whatever. Thanks. So wait, hang on. So really, all of this is McAfee's fault for hiring this guy. It comes back to John McAfee for hiring this guy in the first place. McAfee is the problem with Windows. Delete that stuff.
I think we could agree on that.
Yeah, there we go.
So, I was up in Portland today. Was up there with my wife and my son, and we went out to lunch, and me and my son walked out of the restaurant first, and we're walking towards the car, and we walked slow, and we're just sitting on the sidewalk. You know, he's looking at different things, and this group of people starts past us. There's a couple young women, couple young men in the group, and they're talking about a friend of theirs who I guess recently got married or something like that is what I gathered from the conversation.
Celebration of some kind.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Probably.
But they're like, yeah, so they decided to go to Switzerland for 10 days, and I knew they would love it because we've been as a family like 5 times, but they've never gotten the chance to explore it themselves. That was the conversation.
Okay.
Weird. Right. Look, I've known people who are well off. I don't know people who have vacationed in Switzerland as a family 5 times. And then I really wish I got to walk around just as a couple for the 10 days, because I didn't really get my fill when I was there.
Yeah, they didn't get to explore their own. They only had to explore what we had to offer them.
Right. We did the whole touristy thing, but they didn't really get to explore Switzerland because the family was there in the first 5 visits.
You know, as your son was probably pondering this, obviously, at his age.
Obviously.
We're like, oh, Switzerland. Yes. And my diaper is also full, but Switzerland.
Also, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, for some reason, someone with a $33 billion golden parachute reminded me of this person I randomly passed on the street today. There was like, we all got to visit Switzerland. Who doesn't? I mean, it's a wonderful place. I've been there 5 times. We spent 10, 15 days at a time there.
Jeff, the price of gas
really
on
don't
my
get to
yacht,
explore it until you go there just by yourself.
The price of gas at my yacht is costing me just as much as for your car. I feel your pain.
Right.
Right. I only get to travel 50 miles on my yacht, my 45-foot yacht with 3 people on it. I'm sorry. I totally
know how you live.
Exactly. I feel your pain traveling to the suburbs and downtown with your car.
Right.
I feel it.
Right.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. There was some sad news in gaming though today.
There was.
Or this week, yesterday to be precise.
It's one studio. Game. What could it cost? $10?
Yeah, right. But actually, so I think it's actually one of my favorite studios, and I think it's one of your favorite studios too. Humble Games. If you're not unaware of them, because I'm pretty sure everyone that's part of the channel or would even watch a video like this is aware of Humble Games, Humble Bundle, and all that wonderful things. Unfortunately, there was a huge down cut.
Yes.
And I am quite unaware of why.
So this is Humble Games. And this is a partial offshoot of Humble Bundle, but it is still the same umbrella. Humble Games is basically the one-off storefront for Humble as a company. Humble Bundle, obviously very famous for doing bundles for charity. basically bundling games together and selling them at a much discounted price to raise money for various charities. They've been very successful throughout the years. I think it was 3 years ago they sold out to IGN, and so IGN is actually the sole owner of Humble
Okay.
Games, Humble Bundle,
Okay.
etc.
I don't remember that, but yeah, okay, this could be a
Yeah,
thing.
they're
Yeah.
they're not an independent organization anymore. They are owned,
Okay.
I believe, still in whole by IGN. Um,
Okay.
and Humble Games was the store offshoot to come out of that company. Basically, they ran an online storefront where they still donated a large chunk of purchases to charity, but they charge retail prices or less than retail prices for that.
Yep. Yep.
And for that, you got GOG or itch.io or Steam keys. So they redirected you to other storefronts for those purchases. Humble Games this week announced that they are laying off all 36 staff and closing their doors. What this means for Humble Bundle as an organization, I don't know. I think it would be a crime for Humble Bundle to fold.
Oh, I'd be yeah, actually.
Yeah, all my homies buy Humble Bundles. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, I bought in plenty of them. It's you're looking for a lot of games and just like, look, I'm tired of Steam. But you go and buy, you're looking for like this one game from like a couple years ago, and
yeah,
maybe you even came on your Steam account like, hey, it's on sale. But then you go on Humble Bundle, it's like, oh, it's the same price, but then I get 5, 10, 20 other games with it.
right.
It's like, yeah, this is great. I'm gonna buy this, and then it goes to XYZ charity or something. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna go to that. Or you just go to Humble Bundle. You constantly just cruise for. I forgot about X, Y, and Z game,
Yeah,
and it's now on sale. It's like going to old Blockbuster. We're like, I love this movie, and I used to buy it on want to watch it, but I buy it on DVD now, and
I
it was
didn't know there was a
$3.99.
sequel. Right.
Yeah, yeah, it was like I'll pay $3 to own this instead of renting it,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, and then on top of it, I get 10 other games with it. Great.
Yeah.
Let me that were recommended that are similar with this. Yeah, so that's hard.
Yep. So yeah, this one sucks. I hated to read this one. And it makes me nervous for the other boot to drop, so to speak. I really don't want Humble Bundle to go away. They do such a great service. They've donated so many millions of dollars to charity over the years, and done it with games that are a couple years old that aren't really selling as well anymore. So might as well give them away for what is essentially a good cause. Let's raise millions of dollars in charity and give away a couple licenses. What does that cost the company? It costs them nothing.
Well, yeah, exactly. But the point was that us as lovers of video games and consumers of them is we would buy these type of games. We're like, oh, now we like them, and then the next thing to come out of that production company, we would then probably follow.
Totally.
So even if the initial launch may have been a flop, and then Humble Bundle might have picked it up, there's actually kind of a following behind that to then follow. Hey, what is the next thing that's going on? There's a just because you had a fail, it might have gotten picked up, and this could have made a success for your next venture. Humble Bundle was by means a great company, and I am as soon as I saw this, I was like very sad.
Yeah, no, this one hits a little different.
Yeah.
What is the smallest Wii you've ever seen?
The smallest Wii, Jeff, is this another one of those play on words?
Are we still doing phrasing? I love console hacks. I love miniaturization projects. I love modernization projects. And this one hits on so many different levels, I can't even start to explain it until I just show it to you. This is a Nintendo Wii and GameCube combination that fits on a keychain.
Wait, what?
This is not emulation. This is not FPGA. This is original passively cooled hardware that fits on a freaking keychain.
a Wii is a disc though.
A Wii is a disc. You can soft mod a Wii and load off an SD card, which is
You
what we're doing
can.
here.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is original hardware.
Really?
It is a CNC aluminum enclosure that is a complete rework of the PCB with the CPU and all ancillary processing components grafted onto a custom PCB that is then thermally bonded to the CNC enclosure and is passively cooled. And these controller ports at the bottom are a docking station for it.
For the
So the whole brain is inside of this 2-inch square.
gosh, thing is tiny. Oh, wait. So wait, hang on a second. How much does this cost?
That's a great question. So I don't know.
I'm not seeing. Yeah, I'm looking through the article, and I'm not seeing. I mean, it's a great feat of everything. And what I also love is this is what we are talking about back into the processor of the laptop. This goes back to like Raspberry Pis and Arch
Right.
infrastructure and everything like that. Like this is awesome. A hardware essentially
Yeah.
coming back down, and this is just amazing. But now I'm like, all right, what's the cost of this? This is cool, but now what's the cost of this? Because
In order to get the cost of CNC'd, anodized, and laser marked shells to a reasonable amount, we need a buy-in for an initial batch of at least 30 units. The more units purchased, the cheaper it will be. At this stage, expect 55 USD per unit, which will include the shell in your selected color, screws, and shipping. It is still up to you to do the PCB work. It's $55 just for the case.
I mean, $100. So here's the downside. Here's the downside, because it is a Wii and a GameCube. And the problem is with a Wii and a GameCube for $100, and I'm talking to the viewers, not Jeff, is that the for 25 to 45, $50 more, you get a micro PC, a laptop, something that powers way more than this, and that's a problem. But there's a niche to this type of market. So here's, and I didn't want to interrupt you, Jeff.
I'm so sorry.
No. I understand what you're. So here's my problem with this. So we're talking. What's going on? What is your wife, the producer?
The producer just chimes in. Okay. My producer just chimed in. So message over here in this here. Watch your step in the kitchen. The entire floor is wet.
Wait, what? Is it flooded?
Hold on. So literally the first show we did in my house, John remembers this. I hooked up my new fridge and my ice maker, and the ice maker water line came loose during our show.
That's why I asked. That's literally why I asked.
And so, John, in our very first episode in this house, we had to go upstairs and deflood my kitchen.
Towel, everything. Yep, I remember it.
This is before the flood you all remember, by the way. And there was an inch of water in my kitchen. So that was fun. No. So my producer just chimes in and goes, be careful walking into the kitchen. The entire floor is wet. Now, we have 2 brand new puppies. And we have a fairly large automatic waterer. It's like a 3-gallon jug. And I went, did they knock that over? Like, how in the world did... And she goes, they didn't knock it over, but they were playing in the giant water dish and were rolling around. And so both of them are soaked to the bone because they were diving in a water dish that's, 12 inches across. And then rolling around and then jumping back in the water dish and spreading it all over the place. Yeah. And so she goes, they're yapping right now because they're in their box. And the entire floor is soaked. Like 300 square feet.
But they had a great time, I'm betting.
They had a wonderful time.
Yeah. It's 80-something degrees outside. Let's roll around the water fountain that we... Apparently our owners pre-built for us. It's
Right.
basically a water slide.
What's really funny? So we got two puppies. We got two golden doodles.
Okay.
We got the runt of the litter, and then we got a normal sized dog. Stormy is the larger of the two dogs. She is 16 pounds as of yesterday. Shadow is only 11 pounds, and so there's already like a 5 pound difference between them as they're growing. They're 11 weeks old. Stormy, she has found a great way to beat the heat, and that's she will lay her head on the water dish, which is an automatic waterer with a 3 gallon tank on top of it, and she'll dip her ears in the water dish, and that's a way to cool herself off. And she's figured that out all on her own. Well, apparently she taught that to Shadow tonight, and they started jumping in and bathing in the water dish. Yes, we have two golden doodle puppies.
And a puppy dog pals. It's puddle dog pals.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not a water line. So
Not a water
that's a
line.
good thing.
But I was like,
So-
why is the whole floor wet?
So back to this whole Wii console thing. My only problem with this is that even if it's like $50 or $60, here's my problem.
Just for the enclosure.
Just for the enclosure.
Just for this.
$50 or $60 can easily buy you an emulation system. I get that this is different, but
Not physical hardware, John.
I understand, but no one's gonna care.
Depends on the game and the enthusiasm for it. Because
90% of the games work perfectly fine on emulation.
you are correct.
On
Dolphin is the best emulation platform you could possibly ask for. It
and-
does GameCube and Wii natively.
And that's the problem. And so you get 90% for the same price, even now. Why? And you're just paying for aluminum hardware. Plus you get more. Plus you get everything else. You get everything retro beyond past. This, from my understanding, is only those two.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's cool. It is very cool in the hardware sense. It really is.
Yeah.
Because you're getting 100%. You're getting 100%. But software and other Arch hardware have already gotten pretty darn close and undervalued it to where will people actually care?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly,
To me, I wouldn't care. I would go with that's fine.
Yeah.
I would go the opposite. I'm the other way.
Yeah.
Bang for budget. That's what I would go with.
Yeah.
But I understand the cool, nostalgic. Oh, I have 100%. This is good hardware. It feels good. I understand that aspect. I totally get it. I really do.
Yeah.
But as a person on a budget, I'd be like, yeah. And honestly, I just want 12 games. If 75% of my budget can get me these 12 games,
Yeah.
I don't care then. That's really it. So.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, you know what I'd like to do, and I don't want to cut you off of this subject, but I would love if anyone has a comment on the Azure CrowdStrike or CrowdStrike. If anyone has any of that, I'd love to hear from that in the comments or anything else of comments, because we could continue arguing about video game stuff, or in all honesty, we still can do Star Trek stuff, because Jeff and I have easily been able to do Star Trek stuff out of the butt of our pants for no reason. And we can do that if you don't start talking in the next 3 to 4 minutes in the comment section.
Well, John,
We're
we're
probably going to
technically
do that.
already 34 minutes over time.
Well, again, Jeff, this is my day off, so I can stay up a little bit longer. And so therefore I'm like, and the beer is kind of hitting me. So I'm like, I'm feeling generous. Let's do some stuff. I want to talk about.
Yeah.
My phone's not my phone is not blaring or blasting up of anything. I'm like, I need to leave. I think everyone's good to go. Novella Hub is asking for my blood alcohol level, seeing if I can surpass article. If you haven't joined the Discord, remember, join the
look that up
Discord
real quick. Hold on. I think
join the Discord. Yeah, if you want to talk, there are nuances within the show. There's a special chat. Join the Discord for every episode, talking Jeff and I, or the other Steve, Rhett, all the other mods. Our mods, it's one of the best mods out there. There are some amazing chat groups. It's not just computer stuff, though. At the same time, it's tech, it's cars, it's buy and sell, it's pop culture stuff. We got it all in our Discord. It's one of the most active Discords. I do not like Discord. In all honesty, I don't. But ours is so much fun to interact with. And in all truth and honesty, I bet if you join it for at least a bare minimum of $1 a month and you ping one of us, we will guarantee we will answer you. That's the thing. You will get a personal response from us when you ping us, because we are that awesome and dedicated, but awesome. We are also that awesome.
This is back in March of 2023.
All right.
Hungarian man breaks the world record for highest blood alcohol level ever.
What is it? What is it? I'm gonna break it tonight. Where's my breathalyzer? I need to go find whatever I'm at.
Yeah.
I probably already broke it during my 46 days of just beer.
Yeah. I'm not sure exactly how these numbers are achieved, because to my understanding, breathalyzers record your blood alcohol content, and the standard legal limit is 0.08, so 0.0
for the states. That's the states.
Right.
That's the states. I don't know anywhere else out, but yeah, the states.
Right. 0.4 can lead to unconsciousness and death. And supposedly, a man in Hungary achieved a breathalyzer of 5.67. Now, I don't...
metric or what? Yeah, what?
My assumption is that is a 0.567. That's my assumption, because that's what makes sense.
I mean, that's like going off of Celsius and Fahrenheit. I would assume so too, because this is European breathalyzers.
Right.
So that's an interesting.
I think their decimal point is one off from the US system, because US system is 0.08. And 0.3 I have achieved before. I don't remember that day.
I've gotten close to the 0.04 before. And yeah, I don't remember that day, and I don't remember half of the morning.
Right. So my assumption is this is 0.56.
Which would basically equate to 5% alcohol by volume.
Right. This guy was arrested because he was riding his bike down a Hungarian street and looked a little wobbly, according to police reports. They breathalyzered him and picked up a 5.67.
I don't know how that guy was talking.
By the way, fatal is 0.45. So this had to be a 0.56. It had to have been, because they're reporting fatal alcohol levels of 4.5 to 5.0. So their decimal is 1 off of ours.
Yeah, his autopilot is on a different level.
Yeah.
He's got his own AI system internally.
Yeah. Anyway, he was transported to the drunk tank in the police department where they had him monitored by medics for like the next 20 hours. He slept it off and woke up and was 100% fine.
Well, yeah. So according to the article that I read too, it was his other metrics in his of like
His vitals,
blood pressure, his vitals were completely fine
within normal limits.
Yeah. So this guy, I don't understand. Either the breathalyzer was off, either his normal the whatever tested him for normal limits were off, or this guy has trained himself beyond Rocky versus Ivan Drago limits of Rocky 4, just with alcohol. Like he is going like beyond the limit. Just like there's no easy way out for him. just going for it. He's going for the gold medal of alcoholics, which I don't think so, but my gosh.
Okay.
Is this
okay? Alice chimes in with
something?
$2. Thank you, Alice. The symbol is per mil, not percent. I didn't even see that. You are correct.
So,
Is
okay,
0
so wait a
over
second.
0, 0. Not 0
So wait,
over 0.
what does that mean? So
That
that's
is
less.
that is, yeah, it moves the decimal point.
Okay,
exactly
okay, that's another whole level. Okay, this is nothing then.
Well, no. That's still, yeah. Mr. Pink wants to know, how did he beat out Keith Richards? Mr. Leahy, that's another great callback.
Oh,
Was he a trailer park supervisor? Yes.
He is the liquor.
Yeah. And for those pointing out, breathalyzers are just calculating based on vapor. I know accurate breathalyzers are you have to wait 20 minutes before actually submitting a breathalyzer. You also have to wait 20 minutes after your last drink for it to fully metabolize into your bloodstream. That's pretty much the rule of thumb. So I do understand all of that. But yeah. Again, even a 0.56, holy crap. Just a little drinky poo, says Novella Hub. Anyway, like John said, if you were directly affected or your company was directly affected by CrowdStrike, I would love to hear about it. Leave me a comment down below. In the meantime, drop this video a like, subscribe to Craft Computing, subscribe to Hops and Brews if you like the beer content on this channel. We do a lot of that over on his channel as well.
Head on
over to
reworking the studio.
Yes. Head on over to craftcomputing.store. Pick up one of our fantastic nucleated laser etched pint glasses that are designed and made right here in-house. Start drinking like a pro, like us.
There it is. Yep.
John, anything go to the order before we close this one?
No, just trying to redo the studio. I'm a little behind on videos. Again, wasn't expecting to do a couple of trips. I was hoping to have more the last time I was on. I said I was going to do more videos, but personal work and obviously some Microsoft Azure stuff crashing kind of put a hindrance to a lot of that. I got around 4 to 5 videos backlogged. I'm hoping to release them and / shoot them. I have been talking about them on the Discord. Again, join the Discord. It's going to be great if you're looking for everything that's coming up. Link in the description below. Bare minimum $1. We appreciate more than that. But again, one of the best communities. It's not just tech. It's a bunch of other stuff. Literally, just give $1 and check it out. You're not going to be disappointed. That's all we're asking. $1, not going to be disappointed. Really won't be. You're gonna get a welcome from everyone just by joining, and you're like, holy cow, I've never experienced this from any other tech channel, because I am part of, and some of the mods are as well, larger ones, and they haven't experienced the love and enjoyment as this channel has. So that does sound sappy, I know it, but it really is good.
It's a good Discord.
It's a great Discord.
Extraordinarily proud of the community that we have over there. And we keep the trolls at bay by charging $1 to get in. That's how we roll. Anyway, thank you all so much.
We have great mods. Thanks for the mods. Thanks for
yes. Thank you all so much for watching. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and tech news right here on YouTube. And as always, we will see you next week.